It's not just about the shorts. It's about inspiring others. It's about having fun and making new friends. It's about getting hit down and getting back up again. It's about being a team. Pivot Star. It's about roller derby.
Welcome to the Windsor Family Credit Union Centre in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, and Canuck Derby TV's presentation of the 2013 RDAC Eastern Canadian Championships. This is it, the championship final between Alliston's Misfit Militia and Northern Ontario's Wildcards. I am the Derby Nerd, joined by Lightning Slim on this call.
Hello, everyone.
What a weekend it has been. Both of these teams have left it all on the track on their way here. The Wildcards obviously having quite more of a challenge to get to this point than the Misfit Militia, who got the bye past the first round and took 2 wins, 2 dominant victories to get here to the final. There are your 2 combatants. Now, as we are getting boat ready to get underway, we are going to throw to our floor announcers, Victor 1 and High Def. They will give us our team announcements. Let's throw it to the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the RDAC Eastern Regionals here at the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. My name is Victor 1. I am joined by my friend High Def. Say hello, High Def.
Hello, High Def.
We are getting ready to start the final bout of this 2-day tournament. It's been 10 bouts, 6 teams, but we can only have 1 winner. One of these teams going on, collecting this beautiful trophy right here in front of this gorgeous Ford F-250. That's the tall trophy going to the first place team. Second place team getting this other beautiful trophy, but it's a little smaller. Our 2 teams have been gear checked. They're on the track. They're getting ready to go. And I will let High Def do his thing.
First, the lower ranked team is going to be the visiting team, so we're going to be starting off by introducing you to the Northern Ontario Roller Derby Wildcards. 10 bouts this tournament. They've played half of them. 5 in the tournament, 3 today, all in a row, leading off for them. Number 13, Bizarre. Number 14, Nasty Nads. Number 17, Lethal Mermaid. Number 21, Joni Bichel. Number 22, Permanent Wave. 24, Chaos. Number 46, GA, Geohazard. Number 55, Lady Slam-A-Lot. Number 99, Low Rider. Number 666, Double Zone. And number 705, Hip Check, Liddell. Number 9 3/4, Misery Business. And number 981, Chantilly Mace. The captain of the NORD Wildcards, number 40, Pinky in the Pain. The Wildcards are coached by the incredible Bulk. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the NORD Wildcards.
The next team coming on the track has showed that they are a dominant force in roller derby in Ontario, winning 2 games by substantial margins. Coming on the track right now is the Misfit Militia. Their captain, 1205, Rennie Rumble. Number 7, Slash and Burn. 26, Zombabe. 31 is going to be Bruiseberry Pie. 111, Santa Murta. 221B, Nancy Noir. 413, Terry Bomb. 420 is Mad Megs. 604, Destroyer. 1886, Smoke-a-Cola. 8535, Randy Rollin. And rounding out the team is HC7, Mandy Blaze. Helping them out on their bench today is their coach, BB McGee. Ladies and gentlemen, Windsor, people everywhere, that is the Misfit Militia. These 2 teams are playing in the final bout, happening right here in just moments. High Death. This has been.
And there they are, your 2 combatants here in the RDAC 2013 Eastern Canadian Championship. Slim, been quite a ride for these Misfit Militia. They have left quite an impression so far this
I would
weekend.
say quite a ride, quite a smooth ride for the Misfit Militia. They're wearing the camouflage today. 2 400-plus point victories on their route to this championship, getting a bye through the first round at 1 o'clock yesterday. A victory, 475 over the Sister Slag to 53.
Ouch.
And early this morning, putting it to the G-Stars, 490 to 37.
And the NORD Wildcards have had a much, much more interesting route here. They lost their opening game, were forced to go through the consolation bracket, fight their way all the way back in. And here they are after a big upset semifinal win over the G-Stars. And they are on the track, ready to get going.
8535, Randy Rowland jamming for the Misfit Militia. She faces Misery Business, number 9. And the action already underway. Randy Rowland making her way to the front of the pack. She has gained lead jammer position. Meanwhile, Misery Business pushed, recycled to the back of the pack. Some very tall blockers blocking her way. She's fairly diminutive. Randy Rowland on her way with a grand slam. And Misery Business trapped within the pack. That is Bruiseberry Pie pushing her to the center of the oval. Penalty on the play. Bruiseberry Pie receiving that penalty.
Bruiseberry Pie, of course, also skates for Toronto Roller Derby, and she's on their all-star team, CN Power. So very experienced skater in Bruiseberry Pie.
Another grand slam there for Randy Rowland. Randy going on the afternoon skate and letting her blockers handle their business within the pack.
Misery Business was phenomenal just an hour ago against the G-Stars. She did a lot of jamming, so she could be tired.
Yes, fatigue may in fact play a role there. Destroyer puts a hit in on Misery Business, who finally escapes the pack, but it is too little too late.
14-0, a huge opening jam. 15-0, sorry, for the Misfit Militia after that. The Wildcards have got to be tired. This is their 3rd game of the day. All of them have been must-win games. So this is a tired team, but they have shown that they have no loss of heart for this team. And it's Nasty Nads, speaking of heart, out there to jam against Smoke-A-Cola.
Nasty Nads wearing number 14 in the blue, 1886 in the green camouflage is Smoke-A-Cola, and it is Smoke-A-Cola who has made her way to the front of the pack, takes one last hit and picks up a lead. Smoke-A-Cola now putting on a burst of speed. Nasty Nads has escaped the pack, seemingly tireless. Nasty Nads putting on a burst of speed, closing the distance. Both jammers within the pack now. Smoke-A-Cola calls off. We'll see if there has been a steal.
Not on that time, just 2 points though for the Misfit Militia, 17-0 start. Not only have the Wildcards had to fight their way through here, they've had to fight their way through tooth and nail, a 2-point victory over the Durham Devils last night, and then another 2-point victory this morning against the Sister Slag. So if they've got one thing, it's momentum is on their side, that's for sure.
Zombabe taking the jammer position for the Misfit Militia. She faces number 99 in the blue, Lowrider. Lowrider taking the route of the outside lane and with some nice footwork. First lead jam for the NORD Wildcards.
They dominated in that stat category against the G-Stars, and that was one of the reasons they were able to pull off that victory in the second chance semifinal.
Here Zombabe escapes the pack. Lowrider inside on a scoring pass, forces her way to the front of the pack. She faces Santa Muerte, one to beat, calls off the jam. Textbook work from the NORD Wildcards, a 4-0.
A nice job there from the Wildcards to pick up a few points there. We'd of course like to thank Salter Watercrafts. They make high quality inflatable boats. I know we're calling from the back of a truck, but when we get out of our truck, we like to take a little ride in Salter Watercraft. So big thanks to them, supporters of Canuck Derby TV. And of course, you should be supporters of Canuck Derby TV as well. Where else do you get free high-definition sports feeds?
Randy Rowland out for lead. Chantilly Mace recycled to the back of the pack for the Wildcards. Randy Rowland has her game going. Chantilly Mace escapes the pack also. Penalty on the play. It is to destroy her. She will take a seat. Meanwhile, inside the pack, Randy Rowland enduring some physical punishment from the NORD Wildcards and calls off the jam after picking up 4.
Quick 4 points. So just that one opening big 15-point jam is the difference right now. Each team running into some minor penalty problems. They have one blocker each in the box right now, so it'll be 3-3 when this jam gets underway. The Wildcards just noticing they had one extra skater on the track, Geohazard, heading off. 3-3 packs.
Joni Bitchell, number 21, taking to the jammer line for the Wildcards. She faces Smoke-A-Cola. A bit of shoulder-to-shoulder action between the jammer. Smoke-A-Cola knocked down there by Nasty Nads, pulling her all the way to the back of the pack. Joni Bitchell struck down there by Nancy Noir and receives a penalty in the process. She will take a seat. Power jam Misfit Militia. Smoke-A-Cola now goes to work. She approaches a pack that's sort of backing up to meet her. Smoke-A-Cola now cutting from the outside to the inside, up against Nasty Nads. Nasty Nads turning around backwards, shoulder to shoulder, but that is a grand slam for Smoke-A-Cola.
4-1 so far for the lead. Jammer status is for the Misfit Militia.
Smoke-A-Cola fights her way to the front of the pack. Once again, it is Nasty Nads there to face her. Nasty Nads doing heavy lifting for the NORD Wildcards in this tournament. And Smoke-A-Cola, heavy resistance, makes her way to the front of the pack. Once again, pinballed. Smoke-A-Cola out in front for a grand slam, and Nasty Nads heads to the box.
Pinky into Pain was putting on some nice defense there, but couldn't quite hold Smoke-A-Cola.
NORD jammer standing in the box. Smoke-A-Cola obeying the commands of her bench, calling off the jam.
Nice offensive pick there from Santa Muerta. That's number 111 for the Misfit Militia. She also plays for Toronto Roller Derby. Skates also with their all-star team, the WFTDA ranked CN Power. So a couple of very big call-ups for the Misfit Militia this weekend.
On the jammer line now for the Militia, number 26, it is Zombabe. She will have a brief power start before the jammer from the Wildcards returns from the penalty area. Here they go. Zombabe cutting around the outside, goes inside, held at the inside line, and very effective defensive play there. Put out the jammer and a cut sends Zombie to the penalty box. This is now a power jam for the Wildcards if they can take advantage. Joni Bitchell gains lead position. The pack now at a standstill as she makes her way around.
First power jam of the game for the Wildcards.
A very menacing wall of camouflaged blockers faces Joni Bitchell. She is asking for support from her blockers. They are happy to oblige. Geohazard gets into the mix. Bodies fall. Joni Bitchell is one of them, and now she has to recover and reset herself inside the pack. A hit from Mad Megs recycles her to the rear of the pack. Joni Bitchell starting again in turn number 4. Nasty Nads comes in, hits Mad Megs for her jammer.
Nice offensive blocking there from Nasty Nads coming out of the penalty box. And that's what the Wildcards are going to need to pick up some points in this power jam.
Joni Bitchell trying to shopping cart the blocker in front of her and keep things legal as she forces her way to the front of the pack. Knocked down there, that's Destroy Her. And Joni Bitchell calls off the jam.
Nice pickup for the Wildcards to get back in this one. 5 points on the board for Joni Bitchell. A very, very well-earned 5 points, though. 34-9 is now the score. So phenomenal defense from the Misfit Militia. Misfit Militia going through a little bit of a rebuild, I guess you could say. They recently split from the Renegade Derby Dames and are now their own league, the Misfit Militia Roller Derby. This is the debut since they've made that transition. So an impressive debut it has been.
Misery Business flying solo on the jammer line, trying to push things forward, find a bit of daylight to fit through. Zombabe returns from the penalty area. Both teams now at full strength. No lead jammer yet declared. There it is. Zombabe, lead jammer, although Misery Business not far behind. Both jammers approach the pack. The pack backs up, reforms under the direction of the referees, and a quick call-off there. Single point pickup for Zombabe.
5 out of 7 lead jams for the Misfit Militia so far in this game. Of course, we'd like to say a big thanks to supporters of Roller Derby, not only here at the RDAC Championships, but everywhere. Neon Skates, www.skateneon.com. You're taking a look at it right now. Of course, Georgia W. Tush started one of these first ever Roller Derby stores in Canada, started in Ontario. It's now branched off to a second bricks and mortar store in Ottawa, so please make sure to take a look at neonskates.com.
Randy Rowland, Nasty Nads facing off Randy Rowland. Early lead, picks that up. Nasty Nads recycled to the rear of the pack. Terry Baum doing the damage there. Nasty Nads, completely compacted by the blockers of the Misfit Militia as Randy Rowland sneaks around through to the inside line, picks up a grand slam.
Nasty Nads, though, did make it through, and some nice footwork to stay inbounds. You can see the big smile on her face.
Shaking her head, though. She knew she earned her way through the pack. Nasty Nads inside the pack once again. Penalty being assessed there as another grand slam goes to Randy Rowland. Nasty Nads hits the pavement, and Rennie Rumble goes to the penalty area.
Misfit Militia are running into some pack penalty troubles. Randy Rowland calls it off. Nasty Nads with some nice work there. And one thing, noticing the Wildcards a little slow to stop the drag back. Something that the very experienced Misfit Militia are going to be doing all game long. Misfit Militia, very experienced team. They finished 4th. They lost the 4th place game last year to the host Bootleggers at the 2012 RDAC Eastern Championships. After losing in a stunning semifinal bout, if anyone remembers that, against the Bay Street Bruisers. One of the best games of the year last year.
Smoke-A-Cola faces off against Lowrider. Both of them saw exit simultaneously. Smoke-A-Cola, maybe just a tad ahead, decides to call it off and take advantage of more time on the clock. And we will reset.
38 points is difference right now. You got to give it to the Wildcards, though, for sticking around in this one. Misfit Militia, of course, absolutely dominant. They've already put up well over 800 points, pushing 900 points in their first 2 games of this tournament. So a nice job by the NORD Wildcards to stick around early on in the RDAC 2013 Championships here on Canuck Derby TV.
Chantilly Mace, Zombabe, jammers of the right now. The whistle has gone, things off to a slow roll. Chantilly Mace trying to throw a little weight in. The whole pack gets shopping carted forward by the 2 struggling jammers. Neither one has emerged from the pack. Zombabe has a front wall to contend with. Meanwhile, the jammer for the Wildcards held at the back. We have 2 separate packs happening. Zombabe finally forced her way through. She has lead. Chantilly Mace fights her way out also, but it is Zombabe out in front now, approaching the pack. She is on a scoring pass, finds easy access through the inside line, and immediately calls things off. 4 and the door for Zombabe of the Misfit Militia.
Beautiful offensive blocking there from the Militia just to pin the Wildcards on the outside on turn number 3. It is tough to pop in when you're pushed to the outside like that. Excellent offensive blocking for the Misfit Militia right now.
Both teams content with a tight jammer rotation. Randy Rowland returns to the jammer line for the Militia. Nasty Nads, number 14 in the blue for the Wildcards.
Little gamesmanship to start that off by the Militia.
Indeed, and it seems to have backfired as Nasty Nads puts herself out in front for lead.
First lead in 4 jams for the Wildcards. They need that now to turn this around.
Nasty Nads tries to thread the needle through the outside. The Militia trying to clog up both lines, outside and inside. The jam called to a quick stop, and that is a 2-2. A bit of a tie on that jam, Derby Nerd.
Yeah, a little slow there. Nasty Nads trying to call it off. Might have been a little slow on the whistle, but the Misfit Militia jammer able just to sneak in and steal a couple points there at the very end. So far, it's been a pretty clean bout in terms of penalties. Each pack has run into some issues, but I haven't seen more than 2 skaters in the box at any one time so far, so nice job by both these teams keeping it clean here in the final.
Low Rider and Smoke-A-Cola both return to the jammer line. Smoke-A-Cola tries the inside, Loretta tries the outside. Both of them immediately balked, and we have a front and rear wall situation once again. These teams are choosing their territory. Lowrider falls at the inside line, quickly recovers her skates and lead jammer status. Destroyer making a return engagement in the penalty box. Smoke-A-Cola is in the free and clear, and off they go.
First time that the Wildcards have been able to put together 2 straight lead jams in this game.
Lowrider now on a scoring pass. Bodies fall. She is one of them. And Smoke-A-Cola cuts ahead, forces a call off. And a single point pickup, and that is going to the Misfit Militia.
Steal of 1 for the Militia. Unfortunately for the Wildcards, after they were able to get 2 straight lead jammers and unable to use it. Looks like there's some kind of review happening right now.
Yeah, Coach Incredible Bulk of the NORD Wildcards heads into the center of the oval to have a little word with the officials there.
BB McGee, the Misfit Militia bench manager. She was also on the bench last year during the RDAC Eastern Canadian Championships. So 2 experienced bench managers. Now you may have noticed this weekend that we are sitting in the back of a very fine-looking truck. There we are, Derby Nerd and Lightning Slim here. This is a beautiful Ford F-250 Super Duty pickup. Rose City Ford has supplied this truck for this weekend. This is definitely the first time. I'm going to go out on the limb and say this is the first time that Flat Track roller derby has been called out of the back of a truck. Slim, do you think that's a fair assessment?
I do believe it has been spectated and celebrated from the backs of trucks in the past, perhaps not commentated.
Rose City Ford has supplied this truck for this weekend. This is definitely the first time. I'm going to go out on the limb and say this is the first time that Flat Track roller derby has been called out of the back of a truck. Slim, do you think that's a fair assessment?
I do believe it has been spectated and celebrated from the backs of trucks in the past, perhaps not commentated.
Rose City Ford has supplied this truck. And we're back. There was 2 Lightning Slims and 2 Derby Nerds there. I don't know. That was a little frightening. But yes, big thanks to Rose City Ford for providing us with this excellent vantage point to watch the game. Remember, too, you were watching on your platform Livestream, and Livestream offers you a lot of services to help you get involved more in this game. Take a look up at the More Event Details section. You can actually see all of our sponsors for this weekend. There's Rose City Ford down there if you'd like to learn more about these big bad trucks from Rose City Ford. Of course, please take part in the conversations. Looks like there's 129 people having a chat right now, and yesterday I know 4 City Roller Girls were filling up that chat. So don't let London control the chat. Take it over the rest of Ontario. And of course, one of the great features of Livestream Slim is that you can actually create your own replays.
Absolutely. If you just take the cursor there, drag it backwards, you can replay any previous section. And when you want to get back to the live action, as we are about to do, just click on that red live button, as we are now live once again.
4-3 pack advantage for the Wildcards.
Misery Business, Zombabe, jammers of the moment. Misery Business made an early play to the front of the pack, but got recycled, seething into the center of the mosh pit. She tries again. One to beat at the front of the pack. She stumbles and takes a hit there from Santa Muerte. Oh, pulled right to the back of the pack as Zombabe cruises through for lead.
And there is the Wildcards, just a little slow on that offense-defense, stopping Santa Muerte from dragging her back.
Bruceberry Pie getting in on the action also. Now she is in the free and clear, but Zombabe has decided to call off the jam. A 4-point pickup there on the final pass. Excellent work there from the Misfit Militia to capitalize on, as you said, Derby Nerd, perhaps a little hesitance or fatigue on the part of the NORD Wildcards.
That's right. This is their third consecutive game, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. now to 4 p.m. So a long, long day for the Wildcards. And, of course, they kicked this whole tournament off at 9 a.m. yesterday. So welcome to Southern Ontario, Northern Ontario roller derby.
There's a lot more concrete and a lot more work for you, it would appear. Nasty Nads jamming now for the NORD Wildcards in the center of the pack. And Randy Rowland pushes out for the Misfit Militia. She picks up lead. She is now off camera because she has half a track on her opponent. The pack reforms and inter-pack hitting increasing. The Militia trying to stop the progress of Nasty Nads. Randy Rowland gets into the center of things, takes a hit from the pivot of the Wildcards, pushes her way to the front of the pack. That is a grand slam for the Militia.
A relentless defense right now from the pivot, Rennie Rumble. Number 1205 in the camouflage, just holding that jammer one-on-one with their pack support, closing up all the rest of the lanes.
Destroyer with a leg hit there, and that forces Nasty Nads off balance, but she manages to keep things on her skates. And a penalty, a track cut to Randy Rowland. A reversal of fortunes. We are now looking at a power jam for Nasty Nads of the Wildcards.
Second power jam of the game for the Wildcards. And they're going to need it to get back in this one, down 66-14.
You hear the roar of the crowd as Nasty Nads comes around the outside and puts up a grand slam into the pack, looking for more. She comes around, her teammates trying to slow up the progress, dragging their heels a little, slowing down that pack. Nasty Nads now to the front of the pack, faces the full wrath of the Misfit Militia as they go to work and pinball her around the front of the pack.
Nice little trap now being set for the Wildcards, but they couldn't quite hold Mad Megs. Nonetheless, Nasty Nads is through.
Another grand slam for Nasty Nads. An appreciative crowd knowing the hard work the Wildcards have put into this tournament against, this very dominant Misfit Militia team. 4 in camouflage to beat. Nasty Nads pulls herself to the back, tries again, runs up against multiple players, and forced backwards by Mad Megs as the jam comes to a close.
Wow, quite an effort from Nasty Nads there on the power jam, picking up 12 points, it looks like, in total, almost doubling their score. They went into that jam with 14 points, come out of it with 26, so nice job by the Wildcards. Of course, they are sticking around, 67-26 now, 12:48 remaining. This is easily the biggest challenge that the Misfit Militia have faced so far in this tournament.
A bit of a change in personnel. Hip Check Liddell taking her first turn on the jammer line in this particular contest. She uses some size to push through the pack, however, struck down there by Santa Muerte and recycled to the back of the pack. The power start now negated as Randy Rowland returns from the penalty area to pick up lead status.
And that is going to be a cutting major, well orchestrated by Santa Muerte, and it's going to be now power jam for the Militia.
Randy Rowland taking full advantage, picks up a grand slam, looking for more. Her teammates slowing down the progress of the pack. She is inside, she is outside, she is through. 5 more points on the board for Randy Rowland of the Misfit Militia. The Militia now going to work with their system and trying to widen the lead they have against the Wildcards. Randy Rowland, receiving some pretty serious attention from the defenders. However, manages to push her way through. They split the pack open and it was forced to reform by the referees. And she, just like that, she's round again inside the pack.
She's already got 15 points in this power jam, looking for a few more. This is the second power jam and a half for Misfit Militia. It's all even, 2 power jams apiece.
Randy Rowland a placid demeanor, making it look a little easy as she goes for an afternoon skate. You see on your screen there a pretty slow-moving pack. If it's not at a complete standstill. Oh, Randy Rowland struck down by Geohazard. Although Geohazard did receive a penalty in the process, she did manage to check the progress of Randy Rowland, and the jam is over.
Another 4-point pickup there at the very end for Randy Rowland. That is going to make it 91-26, 25 points on the jam. 24 points, excuse me.
Just under 11 minutes remaining in the first half of play.
I'm not a math nerd, Slim. I might even be wrong about that 24 points. You're just going to have to trust me.
I'm not going to question you. Numbers not my forte either. You have the best personnel available, ladies and gentlemen. Smoke-a-Cola. Working her way to the front of the pack, she picks up lead. Hip check Liddell returns to the penalty box, gets physical with Rennie Rumble.
Oh, and hip check Liddell called on that back block on Rennie Rumble. Back to the penalty box.
Rennie Rumble, known for bone-shaking hits of her own, however, also honing some craftiness and able to draw a penalty on hip check Liddell as Smoke-a-Cola circumnavigates the track and puts up a grand slam. Looking for more. She's inside the pack once again, gets a little pinball treatment. She doesn't seem to mind too much because she comes out of the other end with another 5 points.
This is really the first mistake of the game for NORD, the Wildcards. They've been keeping really close, but again, putting in that jammer, or blocker as a jammer, and you never quite know when they how physical they can be.
Rennie Rumble takes a seat in the penalty box also. She is joined by one of her opponents, Devil Zone. Appropriately, 666 will take a seat. And Smoke-a-Cola skates on a multi-point jam for the diminutive jammer. Geohazard returns to the track. Oh, she thought about knocking out Smoke-a-Cola, but that would not have been a legal maneuver. Smoke-a-Cola skates on. The pack reformed by the referees. 5 points on the board. Smoke-a-Cola decides to call off the jam. Pretty good work.
I would say Misfit Militia blowing this game wide open with another back-to-back power jams, and now increasing the score to 111-26. I think that's going to be even updated and adjusted even more. Well, perhaps not. 111-26 is the score.
A little bit of a power start remains. They have the Misfit Militia placing Zombabe, number 26, on the jammer line. You see the jammer for the Wildcards standing. Zombabe will try to get things started. She does get lead jammer status. Only 2 blockers on the track for the NORD Wildcards. That is Pinky into Pain and Nasty Nads. They're about to get reinforced by their jammer as hip check Liddell pulled way back by Bruiseberry Pie. Crafty work by Bruiseberry Pie to spread the pack wide open. And crafty work with the hips of Bruiseberry Pie.
Big hits from Bruiseberry Pie. And hip check Liddell is having a hard time just getting off the track. It's her third jam now as the jammer. She keeps going to the penalty box.
Do you think that hip check Liddell wearing the word hip check is just inviting them? She has been on the receiving end.
Yeah, and she just picked up another cut, and this is just the experience of these crafty Misfit Militia blockers, able to draw these penalties, and they've just been owning hip check Liddell for the last 3 jams.
Absolutely. Hip check Liddell unable to get off the track because she keeps bouncing from the penalty box to the track and back again. Zombie, meanwhile, putting up points, placidly skating around. Pinky into Pain, Nasty Nads doing what they can. Nasty Nads, who has been a force for the NORD Wildcards, holds up Zombabe as long as she can, but Zombabe skates on. You see now the Militia dragging the pack backwards, forcing it to reform on their terms. Zombabe comes around once again, now at the front of the pack. Grand slam on the board.
This is an incredible pack out there for Misfit Militia right now, featuring 3 members also of Toronto Roller Derby, CN Power, so a very experienced lineup out right now for Misfit Militia.
Nancy Noir also involved in that pack for the Misfit Militia. Zombabe had enough of that, put up another 5 points, called off the jam. Just under 7 minutes. That is in the first half of play, and a commanding lead by the Misfit Militia.
Since the Wildcards made that little push to get back within 67-26, they've gone 4 straight jams now without putting a point on the board. Barely able to keep their jammers on the board during that time. So huge advantage suddenly for the Misfit Militia after what had been a very tight start in this championship final of the 2013 RDAC Eastern Canadian Championships.
Looks like a brief official timeout. We'd like to see you folks. I know you can see us, but we'd like to see you. You're looking at some party pics. If you want to send in your party pics, please send them in to www.canuckderbytv.com and show us how you're enjoying your tournament.
Yeah, I know you're out there. I know you're watching, so let's see it. Send us your pictures. Tell us where you're from. Wear maybe something from your local roller derby league so that we can know where we're seeing them from. Obviously, these are some Nickel City fans up in Sudbury watching the game this weekend. Go, Mom. And remember, where else? Where else are you going to get free, high-definition, fully archived sporting events other than Canuck Derby TV?
A very good point, Derby Nerd. Yes, the archives are also free to view, so you can watch the entirety of this tournament afterwards if you feel like it, folks. And, well, you should, because there have been some very exciting bouts.
And what you can do is you can also take a picture of us while you're watching the game. So if you get your camera out, you can see Lightning Slim and I here. You can take a picture and have a picture with us, your Canuck Derby TV announcers.
We can join your party. We can be in the room with you.
I think we might have looking in the right area.
No, we were not. We might have broken some cameras across Ontario, Derby Nerd.
That's why the cameras is trained on the action right now and not on us.
That's right. Use your instant replay feature if you want to back it up to look at us some more, but you don't. You want to look at the action on the track, which right now is Randy Rowland putting up a grand slam for the Misfit Militia.
Natural grand slam as Hip Check Liddell finally out of the box, and once again she's just trying to get through a jam. This is her fourth straight jam as she has been riddled with penalty troubles and just being handled right now by that Misfit Militia pack.
Randy Rowland skates on, another 5 points on the board for the Misfit Militia. She comes around the mountain again and approaches a fairly standstill pack. Her blockers doing excellent jobs at clearing room and creating holes in the pack through which Randy Rowland can skate. Hip Check Liddell has taken...
I believe that start pass was an illegal pass. Hip Check Liddell passed it as she was re-entering the track, and she cut as she re-entered. So she actually is your legal jammer right now.
If Hip Check Liddell did not have bad luck, she would not have any at all during this bout, Derby Nerd. And yes, of course, that star pass will be invalid. She tried to pass it to Devil Zone. Devil Zone has reverted to being the pivot, and this is another power jam. Unfortunately for the Wildcards, it is a power jam for the Misfit Militia.
Nice job by Devil Zone to understand and realize the situation and to take that jam star off and tuck it into her shirt to be given back to Hip Check Liddell in the box.
5 points on the board for Randy Rowland. While we were preoccupied with that star pass, we may have missed just how many Grand Slams Randy Rowland has put up during this particular jam. It is a multi-point jam and certainly more huge numbers for the Misfit Militia.
30 points so far. That's going to be 35, Slim, in total for the Misfit Militia. Running away with it here in the late stages of the first half of this RDAC Eastern Canadian Championships.
And we have a timeout understandably being called by the NORD Wildcards, getting things under control on the bench. The incredible Bulk wanting to have a word with his ladies. Of course, Hip Check Liddell unable to join the fun during the timeout as she must remain in the penalty area.
That's right, and we can see the Bulk giving her the jam star now, and she's going to have to go back in for one more. It's been a tough couple jams as the Misfit Militia have taken control of this game.
Hip Check Liddell is, of course, a roller derby player. She's a very tough woman. She loves to play, but I'm pretty sure her only wish right now, Derby Nerd, is to get off the track and back to her own bench. But to do so, she must successfully skate within the jam without receiving another penalty.
And Misfit Militia, as we've talked about, this is an extraordinarily experienced team. The core of this group has been together for a couple years now. They've played in this tournament before. They were ranked as high as 7th on the rollergirl.ca rankings. So this is a team that has reached some pretty high highs. So it's a tough matchup.
And now you see them,
Ontario.
Absolutely, having a word on the bench. Of course, the no doubt the advice from the coaching staff is that it will be business as usual moving on. Their system is working quite well for them thus far. Smoke-a-Cola, jammer of the moment, number 1886. And she is flying solo in a power jam.
And a 4-3 pack advantage. Nope, there it is. Nasty Nads gets on the track just in time.
They hold up Smoke-a-Cola as long as they can, but she comes out front for lead. You see the Misfit Militia dragging the pack backwards, keeping that pack within the reach of Smoke-a-Cola, letting her fend for herself. And she receives the attention of the defenders of the NORD Wildcards. The Wildcards putting as much hip into her as they can. One to beat. It's Geohazard she does. That is a 5-point pass for Smoke-a-Cola.
Hip check Liddell back off the penalty box and on the track, and she's just going to try and skate clean and get a new jammer on the track for the Wildcards.
Hip check Liddell falls against Santa Muerte. She now attempts the helmet cover pass once again, gives it to Lowrider. And
another, I'm not sure what the call was. Lowrider may have taken a penalty previous to that, but she is being sent off. I don't know if she's being sent off or just told to give the star back. May have been that, I didn't quite see where the pass happened, but it might have been that she passed it outside of the engagement zone. I'm not sure. No, she is going to the penalty box.
Okay, so it is Lowrider going to the penalty area. She is going to the penalty area as the pivot.
So I believe that she may have incurred a penalty before the pass was made. Now, that will still take Hip check Liddell off the track, but it will put Lowrider into the penalty box.
New personnel on the track for the Wildcards. Number 13, Bizarre. She faces Zombabe. Number 26, double her own number of 13.
4-3 pack advantage still for the Misfit Militia.
Fresh legs for the Wildcards. Bizarre taking her first turn on the jam line, but it is Zombabe cutting around the outside line, picking up lead jam status. Bizarre now shopping carting the whole pack, pushing several bodies in front of her in an effort to skate clean and get her way to the front of the pack. Zombabe now in a scoring pass inside, cutting through to the front. 5 points on the board. Destroyer takes a penalty, and Bizarre still held within the pack. She has been stuffed to the rear, having some difficulty negotiating her way to the front of the pack as the wall continues to reform in front of her. Takes a hit from Mad Megs. Mad Megs drags Bizarre backwards, and Zombabe skates on for another Grand Slam.
Bizarre, another one of these blockers. I think what Wildcards are trying to do is give a little more of a physical element to their jamming because they're having a hard time penetrating this powerful defense from the Misfit Militia.
Now Zombabe being defended ably by the Wildcards. However, she is still lead, and she has put up another Grand Slam.
Lowrider coming out of the penalty box is now going to take the helmet cover pass, and this time it was legal. Lowrider with a nice job to take the star.
A little frustration at finding herself in the penalty box earlier gives her a little spring in her step. She moves as quickly as she can. Zombabe, of course, holds the whip hand, however, and calls off the jam.
6 straight jams now. The Wildcards have been held at 26 points. While during that time, the Misfit Militia have blown this game wide open, including 4 power jams now to take a commanding 202-26 lead. But a nice start by the Wildcards, just couldn't quite maintain it. Couldn't quite maintain that high level of mistake-free derby that they had to stay in this game.
This may be the final jam of the first period, just about a minute remaining, and Nasty Nads and Randy Rowland, jammers of note for now. Randy Rowland has lead. Nasty Nads fights her way to the front of the pack past Santa Muerte. Randy Rowland approaches the pack. You see her there engaging at the inside line. She is rebuffed, fights her way around to the outside and calls off the jam. And an attempted steal there by Nasty Nads. Fruitless in this case. It is a 3-0 jam.
And that will bring us into halftime now with the Misfit Militia taking a commanding lead, 205-26. Oh, sorry, we will get one more jam in.
Oh, it looks like we do have a few seconds if the whistle gets blown.
And it will. I was looking at the wrong clock there. It's 20 seconds left, so this jam, I think, ended with about 35, so we will get one more jam in.
Misery Business and Smoke-a-Cola getting into the thick of things, both of them fairly diminutive, trying to find a patch of daylight. They do not need much. Smoke-A-Cola tries the inside and is successful for lead.
17th lead jam of this half for the Misfit Militia. That is the story right there, 17-4.
Meanwhile, inside the pack, Misery Business trips and falls over Mad Megs and is bedeviled by Santa Muerte. They have to let her go outside the zone of engagement. And the jam called off after 4 more points picked up for Smoke-A-Cola. That will do it for the first half of play.
209-26, the unofficial score here at halftime. And once again, as I just mentioned, 21 jams that first half, 17 leads for the Misfit Militia to just those 4 for the Wildcards. And they haven't had one since about the 15-minute mark of the half. And that's going to be the story right now, 209-26. Unbelievable dominance by the Misfit Militia late in that first half. Now, of course, we still have one whole half left to come up. Lightning Slim.
A whole half?
A whole half of roller derby left. So don't count out the Wildcards yet. They've got 30 minutes to try and turn this game around. You've been watching Canuck Derby TV's presentation of the 2013 Roller Derby Association of Canada's Eastern Canadian Championships, and we'll be back after this break.
Fog City Rollers, and you're watching Canuck Derby TV.
It's not true.
It's not just about the shorts. It's about inspiring others. It's about having fun and making new friends. It's about getting hit down and getting back up again. It's about being a team. Pivot Star. It's about roller derby.
Yeah, I did.
people I've never met, stories I've never heard. Well, I guess that I should have known not to leave my heart at your door. What if it was you? What if it was you? Oh yeah, what if it was you? What if it was you, was you, was you, was you? Would you want me to save you? Bow down and take me by the hand. Would you want me to love you? I don't know if I can. What if it was you? 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 Oh yeah, 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 what if it was you? What if it was you? Was you, was you, was you?
Oh, hi, I'm ZZ Slop with Fog City Rollers, and you're watching Canuck Derby TV.
It's not true.
Okay, I'm Dr. Johnny Caput, and I'm here with Harry Delisle, and who served in the Army and is originally from Windsor. Harry, tell me that story you just told me in the bar.
Yeah, I told you that story about the young lad that wanted to go to the movie. He had a chicken with him. He says, "You can't come here with a chicken." He says, "Why not? I'm paying for his ticket. He likes to watch movies. Can't come in here with a chicken." So he goes around the corner and he puts the chicken down his pants. Gets behind a heavy-set woman. He gets in, no problem. Sits down alongside these two young ladies and zips his trousers so the chick can get his neck out to watch the movie. And Betty says, Pearl, this guy just unzipped his trousers. You ought to see what? She said, Pearl, for God's sake, when you've seen one, you've seen them all. She says, that's what I thought, but this was eating my popcorn. I'm Harry Delisle, born and raised in River Canard, and you're watching Canuck Derby TV.
It's not just about the shorts. It's about inspiring others. It's about having fun and making new friends. It's about getting hit down and getting back up again. It's about being a team. Pivot Star. It's about roller derby.
Hello again. Welcome back to the Windsor Family Credit Union Center, home of the RDAC Eastern Championships. We are about to begin the second half of the championship game between the Misfit Militia and the NORD Wildcards.
And you, of course, watching Canuck Derby TV's presentation, high-definition presentation of the 2013 RDAC Eastern Canadian Championships. I'm the Derby Nerd here with Lightning Slim, calling all of your action out of the back of a Ford F-250 pickup supplied by Rose City Ford here in Windsor. Also like a big thank you to the Border City Brawlers, who have really put together a phenomenal tournament here this weekend, from us, the announcing crew, right through to the volunteers and everything you see happening on the track. So a big shout out to Border City Brawlers, the WFTA TDA Apprentice League. They've done a phenomenal job. Now, as for our championship game, which you are watching right now, it's quite a substantial lead, 209 to 26 for the Misfit Militia.
Possibly some problems of spirit in the locker room of the NORD Wildcards. Derby Nerd, you've coached yourself. What do you say to a locker room in which the deficit is so high on the scoreboard?
Well, I think you just have to be relentlessly positive and set little goals for yourselves. You know, set goals like getting a few lead jams, keeping your head in the game, remaining positive. I would turn this into just sort of a big learning experience, and also to remember that you're in the championship game. They've accomplished a lot already, and to soak it up and to enjoy it.
I think the NORD Wildcards have surprised more than a few people in this tournament. Nasty Nads immediately handing off the helmet cover.
Didn't quite work out perfectly, but it was a great effort, and that's the kind of stuff that small goals to set for yourself.
Trying new things, however, Randy Rowland picks up lead for the Misfit Militia and continues to skate as she has throughout this contest with great aplomb.
Low block major being assessed to the Misfit Militia blocker.
Pinky into pain falls to the track. She is now dragged backwards. She was the recipient of the star. She is the jammer for the Wildcards now. Randy Rowland passes her by. Rennie Rumble drags Pinky into pain back as far as she can, right to the limit of the pack definition. And then she gets back into it, takes a hit there from Rennie Rumble. Randy Rowland inside the pack, up to the front.
And if I were her, I might stay away from lanes 1 and 2, stay away from the outside or the inside of the track, because these Misfit Militia know how to recycle jammers.
5 points on the board for Randy Rowland. She's inside the pack looking for more, chooses the center route, runs into Nasty Nads, an excellent backwards skater, going shoulder to shoulder with Randy Rowland. Another 5 points on the board for the Militia. They extend their commanding lead against the Wildcards.
And I'm sure this is exactly what the Misfit Militia talked about at halftime. Come out as strong as we finished it and put this game away early, which is kind of what they're doing.
Pinky into pain got put out in turn number 3 there, collided with the referee, and has now been recycled to the pack once again. Randy Rowland moves to the front. 4 in blue there to greet her. However, they are outside the zone of engagement. And 5 more points as Randy Rowland skates on.
29 points already on the board in this opening jam of the second half for the Misfit Militia. Will she make that at least a 30? And she does.
A
30
single.
points exactly.
The Psychic Derby Nerd here on Canuck Derby TV.
Wow, what a way to start the second half here of the 2013 Roller Derby Association of Canada Eastern Canadian Championships. 30-point lead. 30-point jam to start the second half.
Smoke-A-Cola and Lowrider, jammers of note. Both teams at full strength, 5-on-5 derby. Lowrider taken to the outside route. We have a lead for the NORD Wildcards. Lowrider number 99 in the blue. Picking up speed, Smoke-A-Cola effectively held at the front of the pack. 1 to beat, and now Smoke-A-Cola escapes the pack, but it is Lowrider on a scoring pass being held at the rear of the pack. 1 to beat, it is Nancy Noir with a swing and a miss. The same for Santa Muerte. An excellent jam there for the Wildcards.
Unbelievable lowrider. That is 11 straight jams that Misfit Militia had over the 2 periods of lead jammer statuses. That was also 11 jams without a point on the board. So a huge, huge morale boost for the Wildcards with that 4-point pickup.
You were speaking about the small victories, Derby Nerd. That would certainly be one of them, and it's something to build on. Zombabe faces Misery Business as Devil Zone almost loses her balance trying to stay on that jammer line. Away they go. Misery Business dancing as fast as she can. She keeps knocking, but the Misfit Militia will not let her in. Meanwhile, hopping over her teammates on the inside line, Zombabe picks up lead.
Zombabe is a veteran with this Militia team as well. She was a key part of the team that finished 4th at last year's tournament.
Rennie Rumble strikes down the jammer for the Wildcards. Zombabe skates on. Grand slam on the board. Misery Business finally fights her way to the front of the pack, faces Destroyer. Severe difference in height between those two players. Zombabe cuts her way through the pack one more time and calls off the jam immediately.
I did mention earlier that Rennie Rumble also plays for Toronto Roller Derby's CN Power, their WFTDA travel team, but she is a founding member, I should point out, of the Misfit Militia Roller Derby. She's been there from the start. She is from Alliston. Number 1205, as you see on the bench, talking to BB McGee, bench boss for the Militia.
Randy Rowland returns to the jammer line for the Misfit Militia. She faces Nasty Nads, who has been a very effective skater for the Wildcards in this tournament, seemingly tireless and doing a lot of work on the track. She goes to it once again.
Nasty Nad's a triple threat as well, doing it all with the stripe, blocking, jamming.
Randy Rowland makes her way to the front of the pack, comes out with lead. Nasty Nads being worked on by Santa Muerte. Also of Toronto Roller Derby, she takes a penalty on that play, and Nasty Nads gets right back into the thick of things up against Nancy Noir and Bruceberry Pie at the front of the pack, and she escapes.
Bruceberry Pie, another one of those CN Power skaters. On the track pivoting right now. Being called off by the Militia with 4 more points on the board. What a game for Randy Rowland. 2:53 now is your score to 30 with just over 5 minutes taken off of the period clock here in the second half. A familiar pairing at the jammer line, Low Ride Her and Smoke-A-Cola. We'd like to thank our good friends at Pivot Star. They, of course, well known for their casual derby wear, but they have a new line of uniforms. You will definitely want to check that out. And apparently they're very nice uniforms, perfectly crafted for the Derby girl.
A skater-run organization, they would know how to do it, Derby Nerds. And knowing how to get lead jammer is Smoke-A-Cola. 1886 out in front for lead, taking a spill at the back of the pack is Lowrider. A penalty assessed to Rennie Rumble. She will take a seat next to Santa Muerte.
Very rarely seeing 2 skaters in the box for the Misfit Militia, and that leaves only 2 blockers on the track for the skaters in camouflage.
A quick call off, 4-point pickup there for Smoke-A-Cola, extending the lead of the Misfit Militia. 23 and a half minutes remaining, a score of 257 over a score of 30 for the Wildcards.
And you have to think for the Wildcards that fatigue is going to set in at some point. Now, this is not an incredibly experienced team to begin with, and to have to play so many games, including 2 already today and 4 so far on this weekend, it's got to be an exhausting experience.
Misery Business faces Zombabe. Back at it again. Misery Business tries to dance around the outside. Not going to happen with Bruceberry Pie in the way. Meanwhile, Zombabe picks up lead. Bruceberry Pie throws another hit on Misery Business, forces her to the rear of the pack, and recycles her again. And it is Nancy Noir throwing the hit that puts Misery Business to the inside of the track. She cannot find a way through.
Santa Muerte back on the track too. Her penalty has expired. Number 111 in the leopard print. In the camouflage. That's a habit.
The other pattern she is accustomed to wearing. Zombabe through the pack, 5 points for the Misfit Militia. Bruceberry Pie going to work once again on Misery Business in the pack. She tries the inside line, chased down again by Nancy Noir, who's been a very effective defending partner for Bruceberry Pie.
Oh, and Misery Business, I think, saw that the blocker she hit went out of bounds, but she must have cut another skater on the track somewhere to go to the penalty box. First power jam of the second half for the Misfit Militia.
The jam is called off. This will be an almost complete power jam available to the Misfit Militia.
They had 5 power jams to the 2 for the Wildcards in the first half, and there is Misery Business. She was phenomenal in the victory against the G-Stars in the semifinal, the second chance semifinal, so Misery Business has gotten her team here. Yeah, that's something's going on. I don't know, maybe we've turned the penalty box also into a latrine as well?
There's some cleanup in the penalty area required, and a new jammer takes lead for the Misfit Militia. It is Mad Megs. And she approaches a stalled pack. 2 at the back are waiting to greet her, however. She takes the hit and moves on, pushes her way through the pack. Points on the board for Mad Megs, 5 of them.
Nice to see the Misfit Militia starting to mix things up a bit, adding another jammer to their rotation. And with a massive lead as they have right now, it's great opportunity to give people like Mad Megs, who spend most of her time in the pack, great opportunity to give her a chance with the star. See what she can do.
Hefty hit there from the Wildcards. Actually does not manage to deflect Mad Megs.
That was Geohazard with the big hit for the Wildcards.
Geohazard has been quietly toiling away in the pack for the Wildcards throughout this tournament, throwing those positional hits whenever she can. Was unable on that occasion to dislodge Mad Megs. And we reload on the track. Smoke-a-Cola returns.
4-4 in the packs, and Misery Business is standing. She will be back in less than 10 seconds. 2:86 to 30, 10-minute mark of the second half.
Smoke-a-Cola out in front for lead. Misery Business back on the track, faces quite a lot of defense from the Militia, fights her way to the front of the pack. Meanwhile, Smoke-a-Cola inside the pack on a scoring pass. She is also taking the hits. These jammers receiving some physical punishment. Bruiseberry Pie tried to chase down Misery Business. Misery Business overtakes Smoke-a-Cola and forces the call off. A bit of a moral victory there, if nothing else, Derby Nerd.
A great jam all around for Misery Business as she came out of that penalty box. A nice job to avoid some hits. Nice re-entry on a knockout to the inside from Bruiseberry Pie. Very quick re-entry, not allowing Bruiseberry to drag her back as she's been doing all night. So nice job by the Wildcard Jammer.
Zombabe and Lowrider take to the jammer line. Both teams at full strength. The whistle has blown. They are jockeying for position. Zombabe decides to act first. Using Destroyer as a screen, she grabs the inside line. That is lead for her. Lowrider, no easy route for her. Inside the pack now, using her own teammates as a screen. However, she is struck down. Lowrider tries the outside line, finds no purchase there. And Zombabe skates through to a grand slam. Penalty on the play. Devil Zone takes a seat for the Wildcards.
And this is now 7 straight lead jams for the Misfit Militia, 8 of the 9 so far in the second half. Pure dominance from the skaters from Alliston.
Lowrider held up by Rennie Rumble and Mad Megs at the back of the pack. Zombabe gets involved by cutting through from the outside to the inside. She negotiates the pack. That's another grand slam.
And right now, that 2-wall of Mad Megs and Rennie Rumble just dominating Lowrider, and that's allowing the other blockers to go up and pull some offense out. You're seeing from Des Destroyer right there.
Grand slam, Zombabe. Zombabe skating around again. She's in the free and open spaces. Captured within the pack. The Wildcards cannot seem to get ahead in this jam. Zombabe comes around the outside. She is through once again. Another 5 points. I do believe we have an attempted star pass.
No pivot on the track.
No.
25 points so far on this jam for Zombabe. All natural grand slams.
Lowrider attempted a little defensive play of her own, put the hip into Zombabe, unable to stop her progress. She did too much of a head of speed to stop completely.
You can hear from the roar of the crowd. Lowrider finally getting through, and she is exhausted as she heads to the bench.
The crowd supporting her efforts. She certainly left it all on the track during that jam.
30 points put on the board there for Zombabe. for the Misfit Militia, and you can see Lowrider being now congratulated by the Militia for her spark and the fact that she just doesn't give up. She is exhausted.
Lowrider taking a moment to compose herself. Meanwhile, on the track, the action begins once again. Nasty Nads skating. Tries to get to the front. She is recycled, and this is lead jam going to Randy Rowland, as it has before, of the Misfit Militia.
Pinky into Pain took a little bit of a Bruceberry Pie skate in the back as she fell, but she's back up and she's all right. But as I say that, it looks like jammer penalty to the Wildcards. Power jam for the Misfit Militia.
Nasty Nads taking a seat in the penalty box. Randy Rowland now has full control as Bruceberry Pie takes a seat in the penalty box also. Randy Rowland taking some punishment there from Bizarre and Geohazard, but continuing to pick up points for the Misfit Militia. Penalty on the play. That is a direction of gameplay penalty to the pivot of the Wildcards. Pinky into Pain will have to have a seat next to her jammer.
And as that was happening, though, Randy Rowland gets called with a forearm major as she broke through that Wildcards front wall. She's heading to the penalty box, negating the power jam. Nasty Nads re-entering the track.
Randy Rowland, did indeed use hands as she cut through the pack there. Nasty Nads returns to action, cuts through the pack. That will complete her initial pass. The crowd thinks that's just fine. Nasty Nads now on a scoring pass inside the pack, cuts from the inside to the outside. That is a complete Grand Slam pass from Nasty Nads. The crowd appreciates the effort of the Wildcards here. Bruceberry Pie returning from the penalty area. Randy Rowland is about to do the same.
That is ending 9 scoreless jams for the Wildcards as they get back on the board.
Destroyer. No, it is Nancy Noir with an extremely effective hit there against Nasty Nads. Knocks her on her posterior and drags her to the back of the pack. The jam is over. Not before Randy Rowland can put up another 5.
Nancy Noir and Destroyer, two very tall, striking blockers on the Misfit Militia, both causing a lot of trouble to the Wildcard jammers. You see Nasty Nads a little pumped up, terrified perhaps, I don't know, but it looks like she's having a good time.
Perhaps winded, yes. But she's sharing a smile with her teammates now. She has really enjoyed her tournament here, Nerd.
Yeah.
And Smoke-A-Cola, another person who seems to be having a good time today, gets lead jam once again.
Chantilly Mace now jamming again for the Wildcards. It might be her first time this game. We saw her jam earlier against the G-Stars.
I do believe she's jammed in the first half of this contest. She was reasonably effective. She's trying to force her way through. One of the previously mentioned big blockers, Destroyer, holding down the inside line for the Misfit Militia. Smoke-A-Cola works her way to the front. Lady Slam-A-Lot tries to stop Smoke-A-Cola, unable to prevent her progress forever. 5 points on the board for Smoke-A-Cola. And now Chantilly Mace has escaped the pack. Smoke-A-Cola through on the inside line, calls off the jam.
Another big pickup for the Misfit Militia now. 9 points on that jam. 3:45:39. We've passed the win bay point of this game. 13 minutes remaining in the final game of this 2013 RDAC Eastern Championships. Here, hosted by the Border City Brawlers, the Windsor WFCU Center here in Windsor, Ontario. Big thanks to Holiday Inn Suites in Windsor. They've been a sponsor here for this weekend for us, putting up the announcer crew, putting up with all the visiting skaters, so big thanks to Holiday Inn.
Zombabe and Lowrider back into the action. Zombabe picking up lead for the Misfit Militia. Lowrider putting on a burst of speed. She is chasing Zombabe. No quit in the NORD Wildcards, this team from Northern Ontario that's turned a few heads at this tournament. And they both enter the pack together. And a steal. A 2-point pickup for the Wildcards, 3 for the Militia. However, small victories, as we've been saying in this second half. The NORD Wildcards, it's big smiles on the bench. They are not through yet.
They're actually on a little bit of a scoring run right now. They've put up 11 points in the past 4 jams. That is after 4 in the previous 10 of this half. So a little bit of a run right now for the Wildcards as they try to put some points on the board.
Randy Rowland and Nasty Nads sisters in alliteration. Randy Rowland moving her way to the front of the pack, picking up lead. Nasty Nads getting some physical punishment from the Misfit Militia, but she has escaped the pack also.
Nice job by Nasty Nads. Heart and soul of this team, I'd have to say, this weekend. Phenomenal performance.
Randy Rowland calls off the jam quickly, and we may have seen another quick steal. No points on the board for the Wildcards. A 4-point pickup for the Militia.
352, the Militia have hit 400 points in both of their previous games. 475 yesterday against the Sister Slag, 490 points earlier today against the G-Stars in the first semifinal. And they now have 350 with 11 minutes remaining. Commanding lead.
Chantilly Mace, number 981 in the blues, skating for the Wildcards. She faces Smoke-A-Cola. Chantilly Mace with an early play to the front of the pack. Stumbles in the right direction, however. It is Smoke-A-Cola using her small size to find areas of the pack which are unprotected. She is out for lead.
And there, the 2CN power skater Santa Muerta and Bruceberry Pie working over the Wildcard jammer and doing a nice job pushing her to the outside.
Chaos takes a penalty there for the Wildcards. Smoke-A-Cola cuts through the inside line. Smooth skating there, picks up a grand slam. Inside the pack, the defenders of the Misfit Militia going to work on this jammer, Chantilly Mace. They waterfall. Nancy Noir is the final wave of said waterfall, knocks her right off the track in turn number 3.
Lady Slam-A-Lot trying to put a little last line of defense out there against the Militia, but right now, the Wildcards just being dominated. All natural, these Grand Slams.
Indeed, Derby Nerd, another 5 points on the board for Smoke-A-Cola.
It's 15 so far in this jam.
Chantilly Mace has yet to emerge from the pack. She's being worked on by Nancy Noir.
20 points now for the Militia. Another natural power jam almost. Penalty
assessed on the play. That is a high block, and it is going to Nancy Noir, the tall blocker. She is vulnerable to that sort of penalty. 221B, Nancy Noir will sit down.
I think it was a little inadvertent. It was just a Nancy Noir kind of popped her head back and hit the jammer right in the face. Chantilly Mace taking a pop to the jaw.
And looking a little disheartened and tired out as she skates back to the bench.
24 points when it was all said and done on that jam. Another amazing performance.
I ask any of you watching at home on Canuck Derby TV, when you look at that wildcard team, when you look at the exhaustion on the bench, if you can spot any player who has held anything back, I would say you wouldn't be able to find a single one. They've left everything on the track. They have learned from their experiences at this tournament. They have had some fun, and they have skated as hard as humanly possible. And here is one of them, Misery Business, your lead jammer.
13 straight jams without a lead jammer status, so a big pickup for the Wildcards. I hope they're staying at the Holiday Inn tonight because I've heard those pillows are amazing, and I'm sure that those heads would love some soft pillows.
4 and the door for Misery Business. Hey, it's good enough for Bonnie Thunders, and it's good enough for her, and a big cheer from the bench of the Wildcards. They'll take what they can get.
Yeah, as much as they have the energy left to cheer, that was a big cheer from the Wildcard bench. That's actually Lowrider is actually screaming right now. That's just as much as she can move.
Randy Rowland puts a hand on the shoulder of Nasty Nads as they stand together on the jammer line. Obviously no animosity, spirit of fair play despite the disparity on the scoreboard. Nasty Nads tries to push her way to the front. Randy Rowland emerges first, but both jammers are out.
And Nasty Nads is very quickly gaining on Randy Rowland as well. She's going to make her work for this.
And forced call off. Randy Rowland jumps into the pack. Nasty Nads takes a spill. Randy Rowland gives her a hug as they head off the track together.
And nothing for either team on that one. We have 7 minutes remaining in this final game, the 2013 RDAC Eastern Canadian Championships. And we'd like to take this moment to thank our big sponsor, Salter Watercrafts. There they are. They are builders of the highest quality inflatable boats at the most affordable prices. So thanks again to Salter Watercraft.
I appreciate any company who gives me the affordable chance to say I'm on a boat.
Exactly.
Out in front, Smoke-A-Cola, seemingly tireless. She has lead, meanwhile, at the back of the pack. Held firmly in place, unfortunately for her, that is
Lowrider.
Lowrider struck down. Mad Megs pulls her backwards. And now she faces Rennie Rumble, Mad Megs, and Nancy Noir. A daunting prospect, I think, for Lowrider. Lowrider not giving up and getting right into it.
That's right. And Destroyer just kind of hanging around, providing some offense when needed. Excellent roller derby being played right now by the Misfit Militia, and you can just see that level of experience that they have over their Northern Ontario opponents.
The NORD Wildcards, as we mentioned earlier, perhaps restrained by geography in terms of the number of times they meet up to practice. Elbow penalty coming here. That is to Mad Megs. She will take a seat for the Militia, but that is not stopping the progress of Smoke-A-Cola. She continues to circumnavigate. Another grand slam for her.
Lowrider takes a big hit. It looks like it's going to be a low block called on Destroyer. Got her knee into Lowrider's thigh.
Destroyer very long of limb and does tend to lead with that leg when she is putting on the block. Got caught that time. The jam comes to a close. 4 more points on the board for the Misfit Militia.
And there it is. They've hit that 400 mark. Third straight game here at the RDAC Eastern Championships. 400 to 45.
If they continue scoring at this pace, they will also repeat the feat they have done in their previous 2 bouts of a 400-point victory margin.
That's right. 355's up right now. Yeah, you're looking at the Ultimate Derby scoreboard there in the left-hand corner of your screen. It's a pretty phenomenal broadcast tool, and we're happy to have it here. Oh, and as we are talking, Misery Business able to sneak around. Oh, and it looked like she'd had lead, but it turns out she just got called for a cut. Zombabe now is going to skate this power jam with only 2 blockers on the track.
We've just got word that Destroyer, number 604 for the Misfit Militia, she is sitting in the box on her 6th major penalty. She may see limited action in the remainder of this bout if she wishes to remain on the track.
Yeah, penalty troubles for Destroyer. She picked up quite a few in the first half. Picked up a couple more here in the second.
When she is required to be as relentless as she is, she will pick up those penalties, Derby, and we know that to be true, and it is just a result of hard play.
Another smack to the face for a jammer. This time it was going to Zombabe. Penalty for Misfit Militia.
These tired skaters can become careless on occasion. It's certainly, as we've seen, these teams are both all smiles. There is no animosity carrying on, but there could be some sloppy play due to fatigue.
That is Lethal Mermaid. Just got to look at her number there in the penalty box, number 17 in the blue for the Wildcards.
Zombabe calls off the jam, looking a little winded herself, although she did receive a blow in the face.
Yes. Inadvertent, just one of those when your hand kind of flies up and smacks someone. And there she is, Lethal Mermaid in the penalty box sitting. Misery Business, the jammer standing. She will be out in less than 10 seconds. But Randy Rowland will get a power start here with a 4-3 pack advantage for the Misfit Militia.
Whistle goes, Randy Rowland goes. Has to face Nasty Nads, who has turned around backwards to taunt her opponent, as she has several times. She can't stop her forever. Randy Rowland out to the inside line. She has lead.
Oh, and Misery Business doing a nice job of losing the whole track. Nice skating from Misery Business.
Misery Business capable of fancy footwork despite the extremely high level of skating that's been required of her in this tournament. But Randy Rowland is rolling and comfortable moving through the pack.
That's right, and Misery Business got to the front, passed off to the pivot, and pivot Nasty Nads, and unfortunately the pivot getting drawn all the way back and back into the pack.
And so the star pass successful, the tactic perhaps less so.
Yes.
Nasty Nads, nope, making a liar out of us, makes her way to the front of the pack and endures some serious punishment. Oh, on one skate, keeping it inside in turn number 4. Nasty Nads, as you mentioned, the heart and soul of this wildcard team, Derby Nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, impressive performance. I think all of these wildcard skaters are going to leave a lasting impression to our Canuck Derby TV viewers. That is for sure. Send us some love for these wildcards. See your viewing parties in Northern Ontario. Are you up there watching this? Send it, of course, to Canuck Derby TV. Or CanuckDerbyTV at gmail.com, and the good Dr. Johnny Capote will make sure that we get that on the screen.
Tell us how much you love the heart of this wildcard team and the machine-like precision of this Misfit Militia. Smoke-a-Cola jamming for said Militia. She faces Lowrider for the Wildcards. Lowrider, Santa Muerte jumping over a falling body. And it is Smoke-a-Cola out in front. She has lead. Meanwhile, inside the pack, Lowrider pulled backwards by Bruceberry Pie.
The jams have been getting quite long here in the second half, and I notice we have more time on the jam clock than we do in the game clock, and with the way that the 2-minute jams have been piling up, this could be the final jam of this 2013 RDAC tournament. And what a tournament it's been for the Misfit Militia.
Another grand slam for Smoke-a-Cola. More punishment for the Wildcards within the pack. Nancy Noir with a bit of a shoulder to Lowrider. And continues to bedevil the jammer. We have a call-off. Just about 25 seconds remain.
So with under 30 seconds, it's going to take a timeout for this game to be extended, and I have a feeling the Wildcards may not use one of their timeouts in this moment. So this could be it. Misfit Militia now may just be counting down to a somewhat anticlimactic finish, but they will be 2013 Roller Derby Association of Canada Eastern champions. And there it is.
The teams have waited it out. Smiles on the track. The Misfit Militia came armed to win this tournament, and they certainly have. The NORD Wildcards, I will not say came out of nowhere, but they came from very far away and came away with second place, Derby Nerd.
I think that we can safely call them the breakout team of this tournament. Congratulations. It was a tough loss here in the final. Looks like it's going to be 439 to 45, but nonetheless, I'm sure they've won the hearts and souls of Derby fans all across Canada and beyond, wherever you've been watching from. Impressive performance for the NORD Wildcards.
What you're seeing on your screen right now, that is what we call Derby love. Whatever happens on the track stays on the track, and there's a lot of camaraderie happening between these previous opponents.
Once again, stick around. We will send it down to the floor eventually when we are ready to hand out the absolutely beautiful trophies for this tournament. Again, built by the Border City Brawlers. They've done a phenomenal job right down to these excellent trophies that they have built for the skaters today.
The trophies shaped like stars, and stars have emerged at this tournament. There will be some names that people maybe were not familiar with at the beginning, and they're going to be talking about them for some time to come.
And you know, Misfit Militia too, the story, they've had an interesting story in the past few months. They've and now an independent team operating out of Alliston. And this is really the first action we've seen since they've decided to go it alone. So the Misfit Militia Roller Derby with a big, big debut and a big victory here at the RDACs at the Windsor Family Credit Union Centre in Windsor, Ontario.
We are going to take a brief break, go absolutely nowhere. The award ceremonies are coming up after this.
You've been watching Canuck Derby TV.
Fog City Rollers, and you're watching Canuck Derby TV.
It's not true.
It's not just about the shorts. It's about inspiring others. It's about having fun and making new friends. It's about getting hit down and getting back up again. It's about being a team. Pivot Star. It's about roller derby.
You are looking at the aftermath of a tremendous victory by the Misfit Militia of Alliston over the NORD Wildcards of Northern Ontario here at the Eastern RDAC Championships.
Yeah, of course, they took over first place, and we're just about to throw down now to Victor 1 and High Death on the floor for the presentation of the trophies. Let's send it now down to Victor 1.
Derby fans, my name is Victor 1. I'm the announcer affiliated with the Border City Brawlers. We just had a great final bout between the NORD Wildcards and the Misfit Militia. They love taking up the track. They want to pose for some final photos with their friends, our referees from the tournament, a few of our great NSO non-skating officials. Once we get done our photo opportunity here, we will be giving out our second place prize. To the ladies wearing blue. I want to say congratulations. You fought hard. You had great stamina. You did a great job. And on behalf of the Border City Brawlers, congratulations for second place of the NORDAC, of the RDAC Eastern Regional Playoff, going to the NORD Wildcards. MVP blocker for the Wildcards, going to Lowrider. MVP jammer, Misery Business. Congratulations, Lowrider Misery Business. Congratulations to the entire NORD Wildcards, coming in second out of 6 teams. The RDAC Eastern Regional, hosted by Windsor's very own Border City Brawlers. And that means we got a first place team, the Misfit Militia. Congratulations, you dominated in all 3 bouts you took part in. You had our highest win, our second highest win, and our third highest win throughout the entire tournament. Congratulations to the ladies in the green camo, the Misfit Militia. Misfits indeed. Misfits, your MVP blocker, Nancy Noir. Nancy Noir, you are the MVP blocker for the Misfit Militia. MVP jammer going to Zombie. Congratulations, Nancy Noir, Zombabe, and congratulations to the first place team of the RDAC Eastern Regional Misfit Militia. We had 6 teams, 10 bouts, 2 days, the first ever roller derby tournament in Windsor, Ontario. But we're not done just yet. We do have a ref award to give out. We couldn't do it without our zebras. We are very, very happy that they were able to perform so well. And we have a very special award to Sam Miracle wearing the stripes. Zebras are very important to every roller derby bout. Team Zebra, Sam Miracle, you are our favorite referee. Congratulations. You do get a very special ref award. Thank you for everything you've done for us today and yesterday at this 2-day tournament. Thank you to all our referees, all our NSOs, all our volunteers, all our announcers. Thank you very much, Border City Brawlers, hosting the first ever roller derby tournament in Windsor. Thank you, WFCU. Thank you, Canuck Derby TV. Thank you, all our fans, friends, family who helped this to happen. Thank you to all the photographers. Anybody who took a picture today, by all means, post them online, share them on Facebook, Twitter, do what you got to do. The Brawlers love social media. My name is Victor One. Thank you. I'll see you at one of the Brawlers home games in July.
And that's a wrap here in Windsor for the RDAC Eastern Canadian Championships. What a tournament, Slim. What a tournament.
Absolutely. The Misfit Militia, very, very dominant from moment one, and did not take their foot off the gas throughout, and continued a great performance.
And for the Wildcards, amazing breakthrough experience here. What a performance for them, and I think a lot of Canadian Derby fans won't forget these skaters very soon. That's for sure. You're taking a look at them now with their second place trophy.
We'd like to thank all of our sponsors. Thank you to Salter Watercrafts, Neon Skates, Rose City Ford, who gave us this great truck to sit on. And thank you to the Holiday Inn and Suites in Windsor.
Also, don't forget to thank Pivot Star as well, Lady and Slim. Big supporters of Canuck Derby TV and Roller Derby all across this nation. So again, thank you too, especially to our viewers for tuning in and supporting Canuck Derby TV and all of the wonderful things they do. On behalf of the Boatcast crew, I'd like to send a big thank you, of course, to AJ and Dr. Johnny Capote. Without them, you would not be watching this beautiful high-definition feed of roller derby all across Canada. So a big thank you, of course, to those guys. Big thank you especially to all of you viewers. For Lightning Slim, the Canuck Derby TV crew, I'm the Derby Nerd. We will see you next time on Canuck Derby TV.
Oh, hi, I'm ZZ Slop with Fog City Rollers, and you're watching Canuck Derby TV.
It's not true.